Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Book number 3, lesson number 1, ad-darsu al-awwalu. And as we can see that the title of the lesson is al-i'rabu wal-bina'u. And in the previous lesson, we have discussed about i'rab and bina, and we have seen that both of them are the masdar. Araba yu'rabu i'raban, to express, and bana yabni bina'an, to build something. So since they are nouns, as we can see here, both of them, that's why they are translated as declension and construction. Waw, as we know, this is waw al-ataf or al-atf, which is used to connect two ideas. And so al-i'rabu wal-bina'u. And before we proceed further into the lesson, I do believe that we need to know the basic terms, and it will be very, very important that we try to memorize them in Arabic, because we are learning Arabic language. So we don't have to rely on the terms like that we are using in English language all the time. We have to learn both like the Arabic and the English. Now, I do believe that you have completed book number 1 and also book number 2, either with me or by yourselves or with any other teacher. So you should be able to understand the things that we are talking about now. So al-i'rabu, the change in the status or ending of a word. As we know that i'rab means status or the ending of a word due to an agent, because of the agent or a word or amil, without any changes in the meaning. So if there is no change in the meaning, but the ending of the noun changes, that is called i'rab. All right, if you see here, we have 3 examples, and most of the examples I have tried to take from the Quran, because our basic purpose is to be able to understand Quran. So inshallah, even in this lesson, we will learn about 10 to 15 ayahs of the Quran. So we will try to take as many examples as we can. So the first one is Kana Allahu aliman hakima. So here ism Allah, or we say Ismul Jalalah, Kana Allahu aliman hakima. Ismul Jalalah, we will not say Allah. Why we wouldn't say? Because when we are grammatically analyzing, we cannot say that this word is like marfu or mansub or majroor. This is not like something that we should say. So when we talk about the word Allah, we will say Ismul Jalalah, Ismul Jalalah. So Kana Allahu aliman hakima. In this verse, Ismul Jalalah is marfu. And why it is marfu? Because it has dhamma. And here we can see Inna Allaha ghafurur rahim. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful. So here we can see that Ismul Jalalah is mansub and alamatul nasb is fatha. And in this verse we can see Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Here the word Allah or Ismul Jalalah is majroor. So how many endings are there? 3 endings. We have dhamma, we have fatha, and we have kasra. But there is no meaning, there is no change in the meaning, right? So it remains as it is. So, but here, if we see here, the i'rab has changed. The case ending has changed for the noun or Ismul Jalalah. Here it is Allahu, here it is Allah, and here it is Allahi. But the meaning has not changed, as we can see here. Allah is ever knowing and wise. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful, in the name of Allah. So this is what we call i'rab, and this is what it is all about. Now we look at al-bina'u. Al-bina'u, as we know that this is also construction, and it is also a noun meaning construction. And nouns are said to be indeclinable, yani mabniyun, when they are ending endings do not change in spite of the presence of the agent. So even if we have the agent or the amil, the ending does not change. We will also see what is amil, but first we have to see like what is meant by the ending, and when we say the ending does not change, what is meant by that. For example, here, قال موسى لقومه استعينوا بالله. And Moses said unto his people, seek help in Allah. So قال Musa, here Musa is in the state of rafa, the doer. We know that this is a verbal sentence. Why it's a verbal sentence? Because it starts with the verb, and every verbal sentence has a doer, has someone who is doing the action. So we call that al-fa'il, the doer. So here Musa is, when we say Musa, like when it is referred to Musa alayhi salam in the Quran, of course, it's Musa alayhi salam. And if it's the name of any common person, we will simply say Musa. So, قال Musa alayhi salam لقومه استعينوا بالله. So here it is marfu. But do you see Dhamma here?
No, sir.
No, Ustaz, okay. Then we have وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Here, what is the status of Musa, the word Musa over here?
Maful.
Maf'ul bihi. Why? Because kallama is the verb, and ismul jalala is the fa'il, and Musa is the maf'ul. So وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. So here, do you see fatha?
No, sir.
No. And then we have salamun ala Musa wa Haruna. And here it should be with kasra, but do you see any kasra over here? We don't see any kasra over here. So here it is marfu, and it is mansub, and it is majroor, but the ending does not change. So the noun whose ending does not change is called mabniyun or indeclinable. Qala Musa and وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ Musa salamun ala Musa. So this is called the hidden Arab, al-Arabu at-taqdiri, right? The hidden endings, or we call them the estimated ending. So we will say here, the word Musa is marfu. It is marfu, mahallan marfu. It's fi mahalli raf'in, wa fi mahalli nasbin, wa fi mahalli jarrin. All right. So is this clear till here? So now, inshallah, I do believe that like the kalimat or kalimatan, al-Arab, wal-bina, they are clear now. And this is what the whole lesson is all about. Then we look here, the agent or the amil, as we have discussed in the previous lesson, the word or the agent that brings about the change to the ending of a declinable noun. So the noun, for example, al-baytu changes to al-bayti after the preposition fi. So when we use the preposition fi, it will be, as we can see here, it is al-baytu, but when we use the preposition fi, it becomes fil bayti. Okay, so now what happened over here? The ending of the kalima al-bayt has changed. So where is the amil?
Fi, sir.
Yes, fi. Okay, so the word or the agent that brings about the change to the ending of declinable noun. So al-baytu is a declinable noun. So that's why when we use a fi before that, or if we use any other preposition before that, then the ending changes. That is called amil. And the process is called amalun. And the process, the word that has received the process, that is called ma'mul. So amil, amal, and ma'mul. We don't need to know even if we don't need to know about amal and ma'mul, at least we need to know that this word is amil, the agent or the doer. And then there are two more terms that are widely used in the Arabic language, mu'rabun and mabniyun. So we will discuss a lot about these. So a noun, mu'rabun is a noun, the noun that undergoes changes due to the agent. So a noun that accepts changes in the end, that is called mu'rabun. For example, al-bayt, is it mu'rab or mabniyun?
Mu'arrab.
Yeah, why? Because it has accepted the change because of the amil. So that's why we say that this is mu'rabun. And mabniyun, indeclinable, the noun that does not undergo any changes due to the agent. So even if we use over there like Salamun ala Musa, you have seen over there that the ending of Musa has not changed. So that's why we say that it is mabniyun. So when the ending does not change, that is mabniyun, and when the ending changes, that is called mu'rabun, declinable, and indeclinable. These two terms will be used a lot. So now you know about i'rab, you know about bina, and now you know about mu'rabun and mabniyun, and also about the agent or the amil. Now we get into the lesson number 1, ad-darsu al-awwalu. Quickly, what kind of construction is this? Does anyone remember?
Noun adjective, sir.
Noun adjective, excellent. Mawsuf wa sifa. Okay. And how do you know that? This is called,
Start with al, sir.
both of them,
And
they
both
start
have
with
the same
al.
status.
Rafa.
Damma.
Excellent, the ending is the same. The gender,
Is masculine.
masculine, excellent. And also the i'rab, both of them are
Is
marfu.
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 Excellent. Ad-darsu al-awwalu. We can also say that hada is something which is mahdhuf, and we will learn a lot about it. Like something in Arabic language that is always, especially in the Quran, it is mahdhuf. So we will say hada ad-darsu al-awwalu. This is lesson number 1. So we can say that hada is mahdhuf over here. Al-i'rabu wal-bina'u, declension and the construction, fil asma'i, in the nouns. So that means we have the same declension and also the construction we have in the af'al, but here we will discuss with the nouns, fil asma'i. Okay, now why
Sir,
it has
repeat again, sir.
Yes,
هذا.
yes, Irfan. هذا الدرس هذا مبتدا الدرس الأول خبر. هذا الدرس
Sir,
الأول.
khabar,
This is lesson
sir,
number
khabar
1.
will be, khabar should be nakra.
قد يكون خبرا يعني معرفة. Sometimes the خبر can be معرفة as well. For example, أنا محمد, I am Muhammad. Now here we have to have both of them as معرفة. You are absolutely right that mubtada is always, like most of the times, mubtada is proper noun and khabar is common noun. But in some certain situations, it is also possible for both mubtada to be a proper noun and khabar to be a proper noun. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So al-ismu imma mu'rabun wa imma mabniyun. Okay. Al-ismu, noun. Okay. So let's say this is like, we say this is mubtada. Al-ismu, ism is imma mu'rabun wa imma mabniyun. Either it is declinable or indeclinable. Imma, do you remember any verse of the Quran, the use of imma? Surah Al-Insan, verse number 3. Inna hadaynahu sabila, imma shakiran wa
Ma shakiran wa imma kafur.
Excellent. So we have showed him the path. Either he is thankful or he is thankless, referring to the human being. Yeah. So al-ismu, noun, mubtada, and then the rest of the part is khabar. The whole of the sentence is khabar. Imma mu'rabun wa imma mabniyun, is either declinable or indeclinable. Fal mu'rabu, as for mu'rab, and we know that fal is used for the continuation. It is also used to connect two ideas, conjunction, connecting harf. Fal mu'rabu, as for mu'rab, and also again, let's make, this is mubtada. Fal mu'rabu, as for mu'rab, is ma taghayyara. Ma, what kind of ma is this?
Ma
Mawsula.
ما الموصولة. Excellent. ما تغير يعني أي الذي تغير, the one that changes. Okay. Now this is used in the context of الذي. Okay, الموصولة. Then Irfan, what is the difference between ma and الذي? Do you remember a verse from the Quran
Yes,
of
it
ma?
is used for specific and non-specific, Ustad. You said
Excellent.
allazi is for specific and ma
Yeah.
is for
Okay.
non-specific.
For example, yeah. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. الذي خلق. Okay. So اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. الذي refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is specific. And if you continue, الذي علم بالقلم, the one who taught by the pen. But if you remember the example from the Quran, La a'budu ma ta'budun. I don't worship that you worship. So over there, ma is used in the context of alladhi, but we cannot use alladhi over there because that is something unspecific. So now it is confirmed that ma is also harf al-mawsul. It is used to connect. It is the relative pronoun, but it is used for something that is unspecific. Ma taghayyara. Do you remember which verb form is this?
Ghayyara.
تغير
Sabaha.
لا تغير.
Sabaha.
Look,
No. It is
تغير
like,
has, I will tell you something very simple.
Mudare, sir.
It is like
تغير
tadarrasa.
has 5 حروف.
Darrasa.
لا, it
Like
has 5 حروف.
tadarrasa.
Okay, how many حروف does it have? Ta,
5.
1, Gha, 2, Ya, 3, 4, Ra, 5. Okay, so it has 5 حروف, and this is verb form number 5. Inshallah, you will never forget it. Tadabbara, yatadabbaru, tadabburan. We have discussed about it. It's verb form number 5. So this is taghayyara, yataghayyaru, taghayyuran. It is reflexive.
Why are we not doing the chart, Ustad? Because
Sorry?
we forgot everything. We are not doing the chart of that verbs because daily we used to do that. We used to remove.
Of course, sure, because all this book is all about the derived forms of the verb. So once we are done with this lesson number 1, inshallah, we will definitely continue with them, because without these forms of the verb, our Arabic lessons and our Arabic language is incomplete. Okay, so this thing, inshallah, you will never forget. Taghayyara is verb form number 5. Okay, ma taghayyara akhiruhu. Akhiruhu, what kind of construction is this? Mudaf, mudaf ilayh, right?
Mudaf ilayh.
Okay, akhir, what is the difference between akhir and akhar?
Akhir is the end.
The end,
Akhar is
excellent.
ukhra, the other one.
Perfect. So akhir is masculine and the feminine is akhiratun. And when we say al-akhiratu khayrun wa abqa, that refers to the day of judgment. So akhiruhu and akhar means the other, and the feminine for akhar is ukhra. Akhiruhu bisababil amili, because of the amil. Okay, do you find any amil in this sentence?
Harf jar B.
Excellent. So
Ba,
bisababil
sir.
amili, yes. So basically ba itself is amil. So falmorabu, morab is ma taghayyara akhiruhu bisababil amili, whose ending changes because of the amil, because of the agent. Nahwu, for example, ja al-mudarrisu, the teacher came. So al-mudarrisu is marfu. Why it is marfu? Because of the verb ja'a.
File.
Yeah, it is the doer, the file. Okay, so also we need to remember that when we say that the noun is marfu, when we talk about the verbal sentence, that this is a verbal sentence, then we will say that this is the fa'il. And if it is a nominal sentence, then we will say this is mubtada. For example, hada kitabun, hada is mubtada and kitabun is khabar. Ja al mudarrisu, so it is marfu. Sa'altu al mudarrisa, I asked the teacher. Okay, now here the teacher is mansub. Why? Because sa'altu is fail plus file. I asked the teacher, so it is mansub. And sallamtu ala al-mudarrisi, I greeted the teacher, so sallamtu ala al-mudarrisi, here it is majroor. So now we can see here that the amil here is ja'a, here tu is the amil, means I, ana, and here the amil is ala. Okay, so that's what we have seen here. فالمورب ما تغير آخره بسبب العامل, and the morab or the declinable noun is the one whose ending changes because of the amil. All right, and then
Sir,
we
why
discuss,
ja is amil, sir?
because if you don't,
Because the default status of any noun is marfu.
okay, so after ja,
So
can we put here?
he doesn't change, sir.
Yes, Irfan, can we put here fatha or kasra?
No, sir. My question is that default status is marfu for
Yes.
every noun.
Excellent, yeah.
So
It will be
because of
marfu when-
ja'a, the
Yes.
al-mudarrisu doesn't change because this is default. So
Very
why
good
ja is
question.
amil?
Yes, it's a very good question, because when you talk about that, the default noun is always marfu. When you talk about a singular noun itself, when we don't use it in a construction. For example, you say rajulun, kitabun, qalamun, al-kitabu, al-kalamu. You are not using it in a construction. But when you use it in a construction, then the ending is bound. The ending has to change. Whether it will change because of the amil or it will change because of being mubtada or khabar or for any other reason. Okay. Al-mudarrisu, al-kalima al-mudarrisu. Does it make any sense by itself?
It is bound to the verb, yes.
Yeah, al-mudarrisu, yes, you're right. The default ending of a noun is marfu. I agree. Al-mudarrisu. But al-mudarrisu, the kalima by itself, does it make any sense? No.
No, sir.
So what we have to do, we have to put it in a construction. Whenever you put it in a construction, then the ending will change, and the ending will change because of the amil. And that's why al-mudarrisu is marfu because of ja'a, and here it is mansub because of I, sa'altu, and here it is majroor because of ala. So that's why the ending has changed over here. I hope it's clear now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then we say, well, mabniyu and mabni or indeclinable, ma la yataghayyaru akhiruhu bisabab al-amili, whose ending does not change because of the amil or because of the agent. Nahwu, for example, jaa haula'i. So here haula'i, we know that it is in the place of the doer or the subject, okay, but because of the rest of the constructions, we have to say that it is fi mahalli raf'in, it is in the place of the doer, because haulai itself does not make any sense. Jaa haulai, these came. These came means these students came, or these teachers came, or these feminine students came. So you can make it as a complete sentence as well. Jaa haulai at-tullabu, these students came. So when we say haulai, it is fi mahalli raf'in. Sa'altu haulai, I asked these, and haulai at-tullabu, I asked at-tullaba, sorry, I asked these students. So fi mahalli nasbin, and sallamtu ala haulai fi mahalli jarrin. Now it is mabniyun. Haulai is mabniyun. Mabni alal kasra, right? So mabniyun alal kasrati. So whether you have amil before it, however the strength of the amil is, it will not change the ending of the noun. That's why we call it mabniyun. And when you talk about the i'rab, you will say that this is fi mahalli raf'in, wa fi mahalli nasbin, wa fi mahalli jarrin. Whereas when you talk about the regular construction, you say marfu'un wa mansubun wa majrurun. But here it will be a little bit different. Al-mu'rabu wal-mabniyu min al-asma'i. So now we look at the mu'rab and the mabni, declinable and indeclinable in the nouns. Al-asma'u kulluha mu'rabatun. Okay. Kulluha, ha refers to what?
The asma.
Al-asma'u, because it's a broken plural. So for the broken plural, we have to use the feminine pronoun. Kullu, do you remember anything about kullu?
Mudaf ilayhi, Ustad.
Okay, but the word kalima kullun, and also nafsun, we will see inshallah, it is used for emphasis, at-tawqid. This is al-harfu at-tawqidu, it is used for emphasis, okay?
Manawi and tawqid lafzi.
Yes, yeah, inshallah, we will discuss about that, but as of now, we can only say that it is used for emphasis, okay? Lit-tawqid, it is used for emphasis. Sorry?
Emphasis. Here it is used for emphasis. Okay.
Emphasis, that's right, okay? And the i'rab of kullu will be the same as it is the i'rab of the kalima that precedes it. The noun that comes before it, the i'rab will be the same. For example, it is al-asma'u kulluha. If it is al-asma'a, it will be kullaha. And if it is al-asma'i, it will be kulliha. So the ending will be the same as is the ending of the noun that comes before it. Mu'rabatun are declinable. Why we have feminine here, mu'rabatun?
Because it refers to the asma again.
Asma, it refers to the asma again. Excellent. So al-asma'u kullaha is mubtada. Al-asma'u kullaha, all the nouns are mu'rabatun, are declinable. All the nouns are declinable. So this part is the mubtada and this part is khabar. We know that mubtada and khabar are equal in gender and status. Ma'ada, except. Ma'ada, except. This is basically adatul istithna. It is used for exception. We will talk about this, and it is also a preposition. So we know because it is a preposition, that's why the noun that follows it will be majroor. Ma'ada means except. Illa. Ma'ada al-fi'ati al-atiyah. Okay, al-atiyati. It should be al-fi'ati al-atiyati and not atiyata. Okay, so all the nouns are mu'rab except for the following categories. Fi'at or fi'atun. Can you reckon or figure out the singular of this? Fi'atun. Fi'atun, excellent.
Yeah, it is
Fi'atun.
with ta marbuta and here one alif.
Yes,
and ta is-
fi'atun, okay. Okay, if you go to Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 249, Kam min fi'atin qalilatin ghalabat fi'atan kathiratan bi'idhnillah. Okay, how many a small company has overcome a large company by permission of Allah. So kam min fi'atin, verse number 249 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Yani a small group of people has overtaken a big number of people. So fi'atun and the plural is fi'atun. Ma'adal fi'atil atiyati, except for the following categories. Fi'atun means it is used in the context of group or category. So the first one is ad-dama'iru. What are
I have a
dama'iru?
doubt, Ustad.
Sorry?
I have a doubt.
About?
Regarding this mubtada, mubtada can just be one word only, right? It is just asma'u, but kulluha is
Is
just
harf
like an
at-tawqid.
additional.
Yeah, you can
It's
say
a
al-asma'u is
it's an
mubtada.
additional this thing. So when we write the Arab, we just write the mubtada is just asma'u, and khabar is mu'rabatun. But
Mu'rabatun.
kulluha, but we
Kulluha is
cannot
harf
say
at-tawqid.
asma'u kulluha the whole thing as like a mubtada. Ustad.
Mu'akkad.
We have to just say asma'u only as mubtada, right? Or we
Or
have to
the-
say the whole thing.
The complete
mubtada.
construction, it's possible to say that the complete construction.
Because what I learned is only the important word, the one which is there in the initial listing, that's mubtada, and this kulluha, whatever comes, is something like an additional thing, and it can be deleted, and it doesn't like not necessarily, and some
This
are
is
like,
basically called detail. Detail means extra information.
Mhm.
And you know,
So
like
it can-
sometimes we have jar
when
majroor.
we write the Arab, we will just write asma'u as mubtada, we'll write asma'u kulluha as mubtada.
As far as I know, it should be al-asma'u kulluha is in the place of mubtada, and mu'rabatun is khabar. All the nouns are declinable.
Asma'u only is mubtada. Okay, Ustad.
So if you want to
Just
say
like
al-asma'u mu'rabatun,
only as mubtada.
yeah, so what we will say al-asma'u is mubtada and mu'rabatun is khabar and kulluha is harf at-tawqid, which is used for emphasis.
Yeah.
It is a detail, and detail is always like it is the part of the construction. But whenever you are analyzing the text, if you remember, I told you that the additional construction or the additional words, you can put them away, and then the rest you can analyze. All right, do you remember that? So for example,
Yes.
whenever we have jar majroor in a sentence, we can just keep away the jar and majroor, and we can then the rest of the construction we can work on that. Similarly here, but here kulluha is basically harf at-tawqid, which is the part of al-asma'u, because it cannot be separated from al-asma'u, because tawqid is something that does not have i'rab or status of itself. It cannot come by itself. And we will see this in the end of the lesson, inshallah. In the end of this lesson, that we will see that at-tawqid, wal-badal, wal-man'ut, all of them, they cannot come by themselves. They have to be the part of some construction. So in this case, we will say al-asma'u kulluha is mubtada and mu'rabatun is khabar.
Okay, because most of the examples which I read, only the additional information was never considered as what is that subject.
As I said,
like that.
you can say that this is detail, extra information.
Okay, Ustad.
So al-asma'u mubtada, mu'rabatun khabar, kulluha is tawqid or harf tawqid. All right, so number one is ad-dama'iru, pronouns. Mithlu, for example, huwa, hum, anta, antum, ana, and dhahabtu. Okay, where is the doer in dhahabtu, or where is the damir in dhahabtu? Two. Is it attached or detached?
It's attached.
Attached. Okay. So the first one, huwa, hum, anta, antum, ana, they are detached, munfasil, and dhahabtu is muttasil. It is attached. qalu. Where is the doer in qalu, or where is the damir, the file in the pronoun? Wow.
Vowel jam.
Yeah, this alif is extra, right? So qalu, wow is the damir. All right. And hadhihi damairu raf'i, and these are the pronouns of halat al-raf, or the nominative case. Ra'aytuhu as'aluka darabani. Okay, what kind of construction is this?
This is a verb and the
La,
maf'ul
not
bihi.
mudaf alayh.
The verb,
Yeah.
the subject, and the maf'ul bihi.
So it's a complete verbal construction, or complete verbal sentence. Ra'aytu, I saw, who, him. I saw him, it's a complete verbal sentence, okay? So ra'aytu is the fail plus fa'il, and who is the maf'ul bihi, okay? So it is in the place of the nasb, as we can see here. So who is mansub? As'aluka, I ask you. As'alu, I ask, ka, you. Again, we can see here that it is in the place of the object. So that's why we say that it is in the place of nasb. Daraba, he hit, ni, me, he hit me, and we know that noon is noon al-wiqaya, the extra noon that has been put over there, and it comes only with the verbs, not with the nouns. Darabani, he hit me. Hadihi damairu nasbi, and these are the nouns of the accusative case. And kitabuhu, daftaruha, ismuki alayha lana. Kitabuhu, what kind of construction is this?
Mudaf,
Mudaf, mudaf ilayh.
Excellent. So kitab is mudaf, and who is mudaf ilayh. And what is the position of who? Status. Is it marfu or mansub or majroor?
Majroor.
Majroor, because we know
Mabni.
mudaf ilayh is always majroor. Excellent. Similarly, daftaruha mudaf ilayh, ha is also majroor here. Ismu ki, ismu mudaf, ki mudaf ilayh again. So this is also majroor. Alayha, ala is a preposition, and ha is attached to it, the pronoun alayha. So this is jar majroor, and lana is also jar and majroor. Hadihi damairul jarri. These are the pronouns of the genitive case. So now we have seen here that the damair, all of them are mabniyun. The ending does not change. All right. So for example, huwa, the ending did not change. Ra'aytuhu, it did not change. Kitabuhu, it is the same. And similarly, lana, the ending has not changed. Number 2, asma al-ishara. Demonstrative pronouns. Asma al-ishara, mithlu, for example, hadha, hadhihi, dhalika, and ulaika. Hadani wa hatani are morabani, right? So hadani wa hatani are morabani. Hadani and hatani are flexible, or they are declinable, morabani, because they are two. That's why they have the ani sound. And we have the examples from the Quran. Qalu in hadani lasahirani. They said, indeed, these are two magicians. Okay. In is basically the short form, or the takhfif of inna. So inna is something that brings change to the noun, but in does not bring change to the noun. However, it gives the same meaning like indeed, but it does not have any grammatical function. So it's very much like innama. It's similar to that. When we talk about the Arab, in does not bring any change to the noun. Otherwise, it will be inna hadaini lisahirani. Okay, but we don't have tashdid over there. That's why it is qalu in hadani lasahirani. Indeed, these are two magicians. Okay, and then we have qala inni uridu an unkihaka ihda ibnatayya hataini. He said, the father of two daughters, indeed, I wish to wed you one of these, my two daughters. And this is referred to Musa alayhi salam. Hataini. So hadani, hadaini, hadaini, hatani, hataini, hataini. And these are the only two of the dual that have been used in the Quran. So these are asma'ul ishara. Any questions? Clear? Then we have asma'ul mawsula. Okay, al-asma'ul mawsula, the relative pronouns. In the relative pronouns, we have alladhani, allatani are morabani. Alladhani and allatani are declinable. So alladhi, allati, alladhina, alladhi, alladhani, alladaini. And what is the plural of alladhi?
Allazina.
Alladhina. Allati And then we have
Allati,
allati, allatani, allataini, and allati. Excellent. Okay. Whereas here we will discuss with only the dual, and we know that the dual, they are flexible or they are declinable. Walladhani ya'tiyaniha minkum fa'adhuhuma. Those two of you who committed, chastise them or punish both of them. Walladhani. And then we have Rabbana Arina. Yes, who is going to read it?
ربنا أرنا الذين أضلانا من الجن والإنس.
Excellent. So what happens, like normally when we are reading, we may not pay attention to it and we might read it alladhina, because alladhina is a very common construction that we see in the Quran, okay? But here it is Rabbana Arina alladhaini. Alladhaini adallana min al-jinni wal-insi. The disbelievers will say, our Lord, show us those jinn and men who led us astray. So alladhani and alladhaini, these two have been used in the Quran. All right, so then we have number 4, Asma'ul Istifham. What are Asma'ul Istifham? Used to ask questions, nouns that are used to ask questions. Man, aina, ma, mata, kaifa, and ayu, as we know, is the one that is declinable, is morabun. Ayu, fabi ala'i rabbikuma tukadhiban, fabi ayyi, because of ba it is ayyi. All right. And ba'du dharufi, mithlu, and some of the adverbs. Dharuf means adverbs. Idha and al-ana, haythu and amsi. So some of the adverbs, they are also mabniyun. Don't forget that we are talking about the nouns that are mabniyun, the ones that do not change. Okay, number 6, asma'ul af'ali. What are asma'ul af'ali? The nouns that do the job of a verb.
Like
Verb.
Yeah, already. Mithlu, Amin. What's the meaning of Amin?
Yeah, Allah, respond to my this
Yeah,
thing.
Allahumma stajib. Allahumma stajib. Oh Allah, accept my request. And then we have uffin and ahi. So they are also mabniyun. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Say not to them so much as uff. Refers to who? Refers to the parents. And uff means an expression of disapproval or irritation. Even you are being irritated. And this is the beauty of the Quran, that Quran will teach us aqidah. Quran will teach us how to deal with the parents. Quran will teach us how to deal with the society and how to live in a society. That's why it is very, very important for us to connect to the Quran so that we can live a real life where we know how to deal with the people, how to deal with the things that are referred to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ibadat, and also our muamalat, dealings with the people. We will only learn from the Quran. And also Quran will teach us the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if we don't know Quran, we don't know our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Aisha radiyallahu anha was asked about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did she say? Kana khuluqahu
Like a
al-Quran.
living Quran.
Yeah,
The
he
one-
lived by the Quran. Okay, so if we want to be the, like live a real life, then, and we want to follow the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the only thing that we have to stick to is wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an, is the Quran that we have to stick to. And this will inshallah also teach us about the seerah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. And then we have number 7, al-adad al-murakkabatu, the compound numbers. The compound numbers from 11 to
19.
19. We discussed it yesterday in the previous lesson. Yeah. So أحد عشرة, تسعة عشرة, الثالثة عشرة, الجزء الأول من 12 مربع. The first part of 12, 12 is مربع, is declinable. For example, يدرس في الفصل 12 طالبا. There are 12 students in the classroom, or 12 students study in the classroom. رأيت 12 طالبا. I saw 12 students. هذا الطعام ل12 طالبا. This food is for 12 students. It was basically اثنان And because of being used as mudaf, the noon has been dropped, and inshallah we will learn it in the coming lessons. So it is ithna and ani, aini, aini, ithnani, ithnaini, ithnaini. So when we use it in the place of mansub, then the noon gets dropped and the ya is retained. That's why it is ra'aytu ithnay ashara taliban. I saw 12 students. Masculine students or feminine students?
This is masculine.
Masculine because of طالبا, you can see here. Okay, yeah, okay. And هذا طعام لاثني عشر طالبا. We know that the hamza of ithna is hamzatul wasl. That's why we will say لاثني عشر طالبا. This food is for 12 students. وكذلك الجزء الأول من اثنتا عشرة. And similarly, the first part of number 12 for the feminine numbers is also mu'rab, is also declinable. So the first part of 12, number 12 for the masculine and for the feminine is mu'rab, is declinable, is changeable. The ending changes for that. And we have all the examples from the Quran here. I will just go through the text over here. Inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaban, 11 stars, ahada ashara kawkaban. So you can see here, kawkab is masculine, that's why it is ahada ashara. Inna iddat ash-shuhur inda Allah ithna ashara shahran. So here, inda Allah ithna ashara shahran. So we will not say inda Allahi ithna ashara shahran because hamzat is hamzatul wasl, okay? So 12, the number of months, indeed the number of months with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is 12. And وَبَعَثْنَا مِنْهُمُ اثْنَيْ عَشَرَ نَقِيًّا. And we sent or we delegated from among them 12 leaders. اثْنَيْ عَشَرَ. Why here it is used as اثْنَيْ عَشَرَ? وَبَعَثْنَا. بَعَثْنَا, we sent. This is fail file and it is in the place of مفعول به. فَانْفَجَرَتْ مِنْهُ اثْنَتَا عَشْرَةَ عَيْنًا. Then 12 springs gushed forth from it. Okay, ithnata ashrata aynan. Why it is ithnata ashrata? Because aynan is feminine, right? Yeah, aynan is feminine, springs, and also fanfajarat is the verb that is used for the feminine. So fanfajarat min huthnata ashrata aynan. And then the last one is وَقَطَّعْنَاهُمْ مُثْنَتَيْ أَشْرَةَ أَصْبَاطًا. So وَقَطَّعْنَاهُمْ قَطَّعْ. Here this one has tashdid. إِثْنَتَيْ أَشْرَةَ أَصْبَاطًا. And we divided them into 12 tribes. Okay. So now we have all the examples from the Quran for the first part, which is of 12, which is mu'rab or declinable. Right. Let's see. So I think. So what is the summary of the nouns that are mabniyun? Do you remember that? The nouns that are mabniyun? There are 7 of them. Do you remember them all? The first one is ad-damair, pronouns. The second one, asma'ul ishara. And number 3, asma'ul mawsula. Excellent. Number 4, asma'ul istifham. Excellent. Number 5, adverb. Excellent. All right. And number 6, asma'ul af'al. Excellent. And number 7 is al-a'dadu al-murakkabatu, the compound numbers. All right. So I believe we can stop here, inshallah, and then we will continue. We have already learned about the signs of the alamatul i'rab. We have learned them in English, and inshallah we are going to learn them in the next class in Arabic, and then inshallah hopefully we will complete lesson number 1 in a couple of days, and then we will start lesson number 2. As we know that this is a review lesson for all the lessons that we have learned in number 1 and number 2. If you are able to master this lesson, the rest of the book will be inshallah, and the whole construction and also the analysis of the Quran will be inshallah much easier for you. So I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me and you to the right path and help us learn the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we can stand by it, we can learn it, and we can teach it to the others as well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم. جزاكم الله.
وعليكم السلام وإياكم.